Class is in session. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. This is your host Luis, and today we're going to take a look at Garlic Jr., the Immortal Demon. Hey guys, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're just going to take a look at this deck profile that I got to play this weekend. I'll be really honest with you guys, this is not a hardcore competitive deck. This is more of a fun deck. If your opponent isn't careful though, they can take a big hit. This is Garlic Jr. For those of you guys that don't know what he does, he has Overlord. And Overlord, this is what it means. Once per turn, you place one of your battle cards with the Servant skill at the bottom of your deck, and then you get to draw one card. He has an auto that when he attacks, he draws a card. And his Awaken skill is when your life is at 4 or less, or you have a yellow unison card with a specified cost of 3 in play, you may draw one card, switch up to one of your energy to active mode, add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 left, and flip this guy over. So that's really, really good because you don't have to worry about your opponent not attacking you. His backside also has the same Overlord once per turn ability, and his auto, same thing, when he attacks, he draws. Auto: when your opponent's cards attack, you may choose one yellow demon clan with an energy cost of 2 or less in your hand and play it in rest mode. If you do, negate this skill for the turn. So you only get to do that once per turn, and we're going to take a look at some of the cards that you can actually do that with. But first, we're going to take a look at the field card and the card that you need to search the field card. We're going to be playing 2 Makio Stars, and we're going to be playing 4 Gasiu of the Demonic Elite Fours. So it's the Spice Boys is what we got going on right here. Makio Star is a field card, and his first auto is that when you activate this card, you can look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck and add up to 1 yellow Demon Clan card from them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this adds any Demon Clan card. It adds all your 2 drops, all your 3 drops, and all your 5 drops. And Gasiu's ability is you activate main if your leader card's a yellow Demon Clan card, and you discard this card from your hand. You can add up to 1 Makio Star from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. Now, this is a word of advice. I only played 2 Makio Star because that's all that I have, but I recommend you play 4 and 4. 4 Makio, 4 Gasiu. You want to have 8 of this card essentially. You need to play this card. If you don't play this card, you just lost the game. Next, we're going to be playing 4 Vinegar of the Demonic Elite Four. Really good card. I think this is the best one out of all the Spice Boys. When this card is played, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck. Play 1 yellow Demon Clan card with an energy cost of 2 or less from among them, other than copies of this card, and you play that card in rest mode. Then shuffle your deck. And finally, we're going to be playing 2 Tardo of the Demonic Elite Four. We're not going to play all 4 because the 4th one is a super combo, and you have a better super combo you can play in the deck. My recommendation is that you switch Tardo out for the Chi-Chi Servant card. That's what I did in the tournament. I don't own the card, I actually borrowed it from someone else. His auto: when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it can't be switched to active mode during your opponent's next turn. All 3 of these gentlemen have an auto that you tap 1 yellow. If your leader card is a yellow Demon Clan, which it is, when you activate an Overlord skill, play this card from your hand. Now, you can activate all those autos at the same time if you activate Servant 1 time. So you can play all 3 of them, but you would have to pay 3 energy to do so. Alright, we're going to move on to our Servant package. This is what we got. You're going to be playing 2 Bulma Demonic Transformation. This is a pretty good card. Has Servant, and the Servant skill basically means that when the Servant card is on board, it gains 10k. So it's going to be a 20k beater right off the bat, unless the skills are negated. But you are not able to restand this card at the beginning of your charge phase, so the card won't be able to restand. And this Bulma specifically has an activate main once per turn. You tap 1 yellow. You look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow unison card with a specified cost of 3, or 1 yellow Demon Clan with an energy cost of 3 or less from among them, and then shuffle your deck. The next card we're going to be playing is another Servant. We're going to be playing 4 Yamcha Demonic Transformation. I don't know what's going on with the Dragon Ball card game. Yamcha is just a really good card, but he's a horrible fighter in the show. But this guy has Servant, so 20k inherently, and Blocker. And the next guy we're going to be playing, which I think is the second best. The first best is Chi-Chi, but again, I don't own her. we're going to be playing 4 Master Roshi Demonic Transformation, Servant, 20k, can't restand, Auto. If your leader card is Yellow Demon Clan, when this card is played, you draw 1 card, and you can't activate this. You can't activate the auto skills and copies of this card for the rest of the turn. And we'll go over in a little while. We'll go over why this card is really important. Finally, this isn't a Demon Clan, but it's your super combo. Generic good super combos is stuff that came out. Life is at 4 or less. You take 1 card in your hand, put it at the bottom of the deck. He gains 10k, and then you get to draw 2 cards. Next, we're going to be taking a look at Garlic himself and the Unison that you play for this deck specifically. We're going to be playing the new guy that came out in the expansion set. Sorry, I can't speak today. Garlic Jr. Immortal Avenger. Alright, so he has Unique and Indestructible. Indestructible is a nice skill that was only given to Zamasu, but because he's technically like immortal in the show, I guess they gave it to him as well. Auto, you tap 1 energy. If your leader card is a Yellow Demon Clan, card, and it's your turn, when one of your Yellow Demon Clan cards is removed from your battle area by a skill, you play this card from your hand. So that's when your opponent activates something to get rid of it, get rid of one of your cards, or you use an Overlord skill, you tap an energy, play this guy. So if you already have a card on board turn by the end of turn 1, turn 2, this gentleman right here is alive. So you can go ahead and play that, which makes the deck much faster than it was before. The other Garlic Jr. is really good, but I think he's conditional, so it's more of a sideboard piece. His second auto is once per turn. Switch this card to rest mode. When you activate an Overlord skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So yellow is starting to get a little bit more field removal, which is really, really helpful just in general, because yellow struggles with that personally, I think. The guy that you play next is going to be 3 Garlic Jr. Overlord of the Dead Zone. Also has Unique, also has Indestructible, but he has Critical. You EX evolve for 1 energy over the 3 drop that I just showed you guys. He has Overlord as well, so you can take any of your servant cards and put them on the bottom of the deck. So now once you have this card on board, you can activate Overlord 2 times per turn, once with your leader and once with him. Technically what you're going to do is going to have one of these guys on board and one of these right next to him. So that way you can activate Overlord and blow up a card on your opponent's side of the field at least once per turn. He has another activate main once per turn. If your leader card is a Yellow Demon Clan card, look at the bottom card of your deck. If it's a Yellow Demon Clan card with an energy cost of 2, you may play it, otherwise return it to the bottom of the deck. Again, that's why Roshi is extremely important, because what you'll do is you'll have Roshi, you swing with him, then you put him back at the bottom of the deck with his skill, and then you, with his second skill, you play him, draw a card, swing, put him back at the bottom of the deck with your leader again, and draw another card. Really, really helpful. Finally, we're going to be showing you guys the Unison that you play for this deck. Specifically, it's Baby Resolute Avenger. He has Inherent Blocker, which is really nice, and a really dope permanent. If you have 2 or more yellow battle cards in rest mode, which you will, this card and your leader card gets 5k power. That came in handy a lot. Stop my opponent from attacking a bunch of times, because he's not going to get the card attack through unless he combos cards from his hand, and that means he loses hand value. You use both of his activate, his plus or minuses. You use them both. His +1 at the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode. Really helpful, because now you can swing with him and still have a blocker at the end of the turn. His -2 active main, if your leader card is yellow, choose up to one of your mono yellow battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and switch it to active mode. Really helpful, because you can switch any card in your deck back to active mode except for your secret. A lot of the times what you do is you end up swinging with this guy again so that you can get that critical hit off. Next, we're going to be showing you guys the negates that we run on the deck. This negate right here is what makes the deck better than it should be. Again, the deck isn't that great, but this makes it a little bit more playable and viable. We're going to be using 4 energy field. Counter attack, negate the attack, and you can't activate copies of this card for the turn, which is a bit of a downside. But if you have 4 or more Yellow Demon Clan cards in play, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn. Which makes your opponent slow down. He can't keep swinging at your Unison. He can't keep swinging at your leader. You're going to be okay. His permanent, if you have 4 or more Yellow Demon Clan cards in play, you can play this. You can activate this card from your hand without paying any energy cost. So you don't necessarily need a Unison on board in order to activate this card for free, which is helpful. You just have to have 4 cards on board. And if your opponent struggles with field removal, that's definitely a viable option. You're gonna have 4 cards on board. You can have 4 cards on board as early as turn 2 and make this card live. Finally, I'm gonna I played 2 Release from Evil. This can be easily replaced with Time Magic. The reason I chose this card, first of all, is because it's better and negates whatever card is attacking it. And secondly, you can play it for free if you have a Unison on board. If your leader card is yellow, choose the attacking card, including leaders, ignoring barrier, negate its skill for the turn, and it can be switched back to active mode until the start of your next turn. Really good against obnoxious cards like Height of Mastery or Green Gohan, Reboot Gohan. Permanent. If you have a yellow Unison card in play, you can activate this card's counter skills from your hand without paying energy cost. So you'll negate a swing for free with this guy, and then you'll negate the last swing for free with this guy. Unless you have a blocker on board or anything like that, then you don't even have to activate that, which is really helpful. Finally, we're going to look at some tech that I used and the secret that I decided to go with. We're going to be playing 2 Hidden Power E Supreme Kai. When you combo with this card, choose one of your attacking cards. It gains double strike. Everybody knows what this does. Everybody who thinks it's helpful is going to run it. It's really good for the Garlic, specifically the 5-drop Garlic, because he has critical and it'll give him double strike critical every swing. So he's a 40k double strike. We're going to be playing the Vegeta Prideful Transformation counterplay. He has blocker, which is also really helpful. You can't activate the counter skills of other cards the turn you activate this counterplay. So you can activate counter attacks, but you can even activate counter counters the same turn that you activate this card, but you cannot activate another counterplay if you activate this card at the beginning of the turn. So I don't play any more counterplays, specifically because it's kind of hard to find any good ones. I mean, the Champa is a viable option. He taps 2 energy to do that, and you tap out a lot of the times. So this isn't much of an issue for me, but you're only going to be able to hit one of your opponent's cards once per turn if you're going to try to stop him from attacking with something big. As permanent is if you have a yellow Unison card with 2 markers or more on it, you can activate this card's counterplay skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Really helpful. Another card that came in handy a lot, because after turn 3, you're probably not going to use a lot of energy to play anything, is Swift Retaliation Cooler. Now he's really difficult to play because he does cost 3 energy, but because this deck is a slow deck and it makes the game long, this is a viable option. It's extremely viable. I even considered bumping it up to 3. You will see it because you draw a lot, so 2 I think is sufficient. But if your opponent likes to, if you're playing against like I think it's Blue Baby that has a bunch of counters, you can just stop everything that they play. If your leader card is yellow, negate the counter and play this card. So if your opponent stops you from playing this card, the counter still goes off, so you stop their counter, but you can't play the card, which is honestly not that bad. I did play against somebody who kept putting it back in my hand with the blue counterplay. Can't remember off the top of my head, is the Trunks. Puts it back in my hand, and I kept using it on him once per turn, and he kept putting it back in my hand. The reason he kept putting it back in my hand though is when you play this card, you draw 1 card, and if you have 6 or more cards in rest mode, you draw 1 more card. So either way you look at it, it's either a +1 or a +2, and more than likely it's going to hit the board. And if it doesn't hit the board, you still counter their counter. Next, we're going to be playing another Unison. We're actually going to be playing 2 Sengoku Forever in Our Memories. Now, you don't use this ±0 because that activate main to place 2 yellow skillless battle cards with an energy cost of 1 in your drop area. Now, if you want to throw in a couple skillless cards in the deck and somehow get them in your drop area, by all means, you're more than welcome to. But I think that'll end up being a little cloggy. The reason why I have this card on board is it's permanent. If your leader card is yellow, all your battle cards and your opponent's battle cards with an original energy cost of 5 or less have their skills negated, and all of your battle cards with an energy cost of 1 get plus 5k power. Now, you don't get the plus 5k power because you're not playing anything with 1 energy, but you are stopping your opponent from activating or having skills, which is really, really nice. And his -2 is actually not too bad either. If your leader card is yellow, your opponent can only attack with battle cards once during their next turn. So you don't even have to activate any negates or anything like that. You can just activate a blocker or take the hit if you need to the next round. And the reason why I play this guy is because I've geared this deck to just negate my opponent's skill as much as I possibly can. And you'd prefer to have the baby unison over this unison right here, mostly because the baby unison, you just get more value out of it in this deck. But finally, we're going to be playing the ultimate I went with is going to be the SS3 Gotenks Blazing Fusion. He's ultimate, so you can only run one and double strike. And then you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each battle card with 15k power in your drop area. And that's definitely an option. You have plenty of targets that have 15k, and a lot of them. And Gasu, you actually just pitch, so you don't even have to like combo or anything. You can just pitch it just to find this card. So a lot of the times by turn 1, you'll already have a card in the drop area with 15k power. So you can play this guy on turn 4. His other permanents negate the skills of all other battle cards. So that includes cards on your side of the field, cards on your opponent's side of the field, and that's why I kind of paired this with this Son Goku Forever in Your Memories. If you're playing against somebody who's really obnoxious that just likes to activate something over and over again, and you can't get rid of it because you don't have any board wipe or it has barrier or something like that, you can play this guy and you'll negate that card's skill. It won't be able to activate it, and then you'll play this guy turn 4 if possible, and negate everything again if they manage to get rid of that card. And you can get rid of that card very easily yourself if you think that it's bugging you, just by playing the other unison. Thank you guys. I think that'll be about it. That's all that I do. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about strategies and sideboard in my Patreon, so I'll put a link down below. But I won't be able to post that until the end of the week due to Christmas coming up and things that I have to do. Again, I really appreciate you guys joining us today to take a look at this. If you have any questions, comments, or things that you guys might would do differently, definitely put it down in the comments below. Thank you guys again. If there's anything that you guys want us to showcase or show you or anything like that, definitely hit us up in the comments. Appreciate you guys. We're praying for y'all. Take care. Bye.